Now let's talk about the activity starting with the stop motion of an electric fan. Without altering the camera settings, the freeze motion of the electric fan is unable to be captured. It's already a given that the lens used was a wide-angle lens, meaning it has a wider aperture. I know it's a bit advanced, but we have to increase the ISO because a faster shutter speed will darken the image. Since the image will be darker, we want the sensor to be more sensitive to light. Increasing the shutter speed makes the exposure time decreased, meaning there is little light to reach the sensor. The image did not become any more darker because the ISO is increased. It's evident that the blades are much more visible now compared to before, because a little exposure time prevents any further delays in capturing the image. Hence, it freezes the motion. As mentioned, the lens already have a wider aperture, meaning it has a shallow depth of field, creating sharper focus on the subject, which is the electric fan. We must have a smaller f number to have a wider aperture. Since a faster shutter speed made the image darker, it will be nice to have a wider aperture to gather more light for it to be brightened. On a normal occasion, this is what night photography looks like without using the flash. It's already evident that the image is underexposed. Since the image is underexposed, we need to brighten the image by increasing the ISO. An increased ISO makes the image blurry because it adds graininess to the image. Next is we will make the shutter speed slower so that the sensor can be exposed to light for a longer period of time. Lastly, for the aperture, we need to make it wider so that more light will be gathered. Good thing the lens is already at its wide-angle lens. A wider aperture is used when an environment is underexposed. To recap, when freezing a motion, you need to have a faster shutter speed, a higher ISO, and a wider aperture. For night photography, you need to have a slower shutter speed, a higher ISO, and a wider aperture. At yun na yun!